and Gibraltar, having served there at some time in your career. However, with the two exceptions of Mike Robertson and Richard Asprey, none of you have worked in Belize. My first meeting with the MD was on my way to Belize in 1988. Alan steepled his fingers and said, "People say that Belize is the arsehole of the world. I've been there, and I can tell you it's not the arsehole. It's halfway up the colon." Gentlemen, from halfway up the colon, all I can do is quote the old Belizean saying.
Come on, man. Keep that shit coming.
Belize lies on the east coast of Central America, bounded to the north by Mexico, to the west by Guatemala, and to the south by Honduras. The total area, including the offshore islands, is nearly 9,000 square miles. That's just a little larger than Wales. The population is about 160,000, made up of Creoles, Mayan, Spanish, and Caribs, all heavily intermixed. Belmopan, the capital, was created from nothing after Hurricane Hattie demolished Belize City in 1961. Belize City is still the biggest centre of population, with around 60,000 inhabitants. It's mostly Creole, with only a few Mayan and Garifuna. It's a city of colour, wooden houses on stilts, toilets overhanging the canals, which makes them virtually open sewers running through the city. Yes, Belize City's got a characteristic smell about it. Belizeans work hard, and they also love to dance. Belize is 174 miles from north to south and 68 miles across, with a subtropical climate and a mean average temperature of 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Scenically, it ranges from palm-fringed islands on the reef, the largest barrier reef in the Northern Hemisphere, and second only to the Great Australian Barrier Reef, to hilly jungle with the highest mountain, Victoria Peak, at 3,800 feet in the heart of the Coxcomb Wildlife Jaguar Reserve. Outside of the towns of Belize City, Orange Walk and Corozal in the north, San Ignacio and Belmopan to the west, and Dangriga and Punta Gorda to the south, the population is very thinly spread, only around 80,000 people. By comparison, in neighbouring Salvador, a country of roughly the same size, they've got a population of 5 million. Most of Belize's tourists come to San Pedro and Ambergris Caye, the place that inspired Madonna. Belize has also got the first jaguar reserve in the world, a place that Sue Ellen and I have visited twice to try to get a glimpse of the biggest cat in the Americas, but to no avail. Wonderful bird life and the occasional footprint of a big cat, but no sightings. With the amount of rivers, lakes and canals inland and the quays on the reef, one way to get around is by boat, and most of the units, messes and the accompanied servicemen do end up buying one. 10 miles. There are two decent roads in Belize, the northern highway from Belize City to Corozal and then Mexico, and the western highway from Belize City to Belmopan, San Ignacio and eventually Guatemala. Once you leave these two roads, you're on the track with the occasional river to cross. These are called all-weather roads, but you need a certain amount of courage to drive them in the wet season. This is the dry season, by the way. They do have bridges, but they're pretty basic. In the dry season, the biggest problem is the dust. After a 2-hour drive, it's permeated everywhere, even with the windows closed. For most of the year, Belize is wet. From May to December, over 300 inches of rain fall on Belize. That's 10 times Britain's average. It turns the roads to mud quagmires, and four-wheel drive winches and mudboards become essential. And if that wasn't enough, from June to October is hurricane season. Belize had a big destructive hurricanes in 1931, 1961, and they're prophesying a big blow this year, 1991. In 1961, Hurricane Hattie had wind speeds of 130 miles an hour and wrecked much of Belize. After the rain, all the water lies on the clay surface and the rivers run brown with silt. This is our car park at Moho Key after a downpour. The car you can see is one of the two Ford Broncos owned by BFBS. This one, ordered in 1988, before I arrived, is only two-wheel drive, sadly, and is therefore not as flexible as our other 1987 Bronco. The stories of our house are fairly well known now, so this is a view from our balcony across to the only other house on the island next door, and then gradually moving round further east to the mangrove islands beyond, which are called the Hens and Chickens. And coming out of the marina is one of the ferry boats that take us from the island to the mainland. Going to work by boat has a certain charm. It's a 3-minute boat ride from the island to the mainland and then the car park. There's a boatman who brings the boat when requested, or we use our own, either leaving it at the jetty or Sue Ellen gives me a lift in. It's very pleasant, as you can see, when the weather's dry, not so much fun when it's pouring with rain. Once at the jetty, airport camp is only 10 miles away by road, and then coming home at night you have the certain joy whilst you're waiting for a boat of watch the pelicans feed while you wait for the ferryman. From one bird to another, when you see these birds, the magnificent frigate birds feeding, you're in the middle of a school of fish, from little snappers up to sailfish and tarpon weighing hundreds of pounds. In this case, a magnificent 25-pound tuna. Fishing isn't always for game fish. We fish for the pot, and whenever we see the frigate birds, we head for the feeding frenzy, end up with fresh mackerel on the barbecue. And there is, of course, another old-fashioned way to fish. Although they are big fish in the rivers, they're pretty wary, and normally a day's river fishing give you lots of half-pound jacks and snooks. This travelogue wouldn't be complete without a mention of the Mayans. Their temples cover this part of Central America. This one at Lamani is the highest Mayan structure at over 300 feet tall. But Tikal, just over the border in Guatemala, has to be one of the most impressive. So there you have a little taste of the country that is Belize, rich in flora and fauna, and one of the only virgin tracts of tropical rainforest left in the world, and some of the best diving anywhere, including snorkeling, of course. But now we ought to really get down to business, I suppose. BFBS, playing all the hits.
Afternoon, Belize. You're tuned to Chappie. I hope you're feeling happy. I certainly am.
Airport Camp is alongside the international airport, 10 miles northwest of Belize City, and is the centre of the RAF, the Logistic Battalion and the PSA. The resident battalion is split into 4 different locations, with the headquarters being at Ridao in the south of the country, and a company each at Salamanca, Holdfast and Airport Camp.
I've got some good news for anyone up at Salamanca and Ridao. The WRVS ladies will be visiting Salamanca and Ridao tomorrow, so anyone wishing to go along for a chat or to purchase coconuts will be most welcome. And WO2 Ian Addison of the SIB stuck up at Salamanca tonight. If you're listening, please carry on listening, because I have a very special message for you later on.
Oi, DJ! Not you!
Of course it is, but he's slightly wrong there because it's not a daytime, it's the night spot. I've been collared to do another night show, but we're going to start the ball rolling with Soul to Soul and Get a Life.
Airport Camp is also the home of BFBS, a studio complex that's grown gradually over the years. Under the ATAPs, there are the 3 porter cabins that were the original complex. That's the studio, the engineer's workshop and transmitter room, and the library and office. The ATAPs protect the containers from the rain and heat, and are a recent addition when we found the containers were rusting rather badly on the top.
Know what's the meaning of the line? Tell me. Well, it's like dreaming of your goals, ambitions. I'm feeling free. I'm on this mission to achieve.
The concrete building was built in late 1988 and has created 2 new offices with a proper front door this time, connecting the engineering cabin to the rest of the building, and also a new heavy goods and boxes store.
What a voice. That's Jimmy Somerville and You Are My World. Dale's just popped in. He says, I wish it was Friday. Cheer up, Dale. It's only Tuesday. And as they say, que sera.
Our transmitter tower is just outside the BFBS buildings, beaming a signal to Airport Camp, but directed towards Cooma Cairn, 64 miles away to the southwest. But to talk about engineering, let's present Ian Martin, coming to the end of his time here in Belize.
This is the engineering workshop. I am the only member of staff here, and it's a reasonable size for myself. I've got a fair range of test equipment to do the basic frontline maintenance tasks, although a lot of secondary maintenance has to be done back in the UK because I quite simply don't have spectrum analyzers and other gadgets like that. So really it's a case of repair and get back on the air from Belize and then send back to the UK to do anything more rather difficult. This is the dining area in the officers' mess at Airport Camp. Meals are taken on a casual basis, which means that you sign in for the meals that you actually take and you're billed in arrears at the end of the month. Quite a good system, food's very good, wide selection of choices every day of the week. Mess bar, which is open at lunchtimes and in the evenings around about until 11 o'clock with extensions for special occasions, and that's right next door to the mess lawn. This is the engineering room, which is reasonably comfortable. I've got an air conditioner, fan and ceiling, and a fridge, which helps keep me fairly comfortable. The air conditioner is actually quite essential, really, because of the high humidity at night. It's otherwise very difficult to sleep. I've seen the current engineering room. This, I believe, is where the old engineering room was. A number of Nissan hut accommodations are currently being refurbished and more modern blocks built. The officers' showers and toilet facilities, fairly basic by officers' mess standards, I would say, certainly compared to Cyprus or anywhere else that I've been, but functional in this heat.
I'm almost at the end of a 4-month tour, so I think I've seen most of the problems likely to crop up in Belize. The main difficulty of being the only engineer is not so much the workload, rather the isolation of being the only technical person on station. On a larger station, it's always easy to get a second opinion or a suggestion of how to cure a problem, whereas in Belize, the engineer can sometimes come up against a brick wall without the benefit of someone else to confer with. The engineer works a nominal 5-day week as per normal overseas broadcasting conditions of service, but under the current cost-saving restrictions, no on-call system is in operation. Should a problem take the station off the air during the engineer's rest days, then that's how it's likely to remain, especially as most people spend their off-duty time away from Airport Camp on the Keys. Engineering leave is also impossible during a 4-month tour for the same reason. The workload is very varied, although thanks to standardisation the equipment's identical to that used around the world, and the familiarisation required on handover is consequently minimal. The engineer can therefore hit the deck running after about a week's handover. Workshop facilities are minimal, so favours often required from REMI or the local signals unit, although there are sufficient tools for effective first-line maintenance and fault repair on station. The postal service is also very effective, so provided they're in stock, emergency spares from Chalfont can be delivered within 3 or 4 days. The remote transmitters at Holdfast and Cooma Cairn can be reached by a robust 4-wheel drive vehicle with a journey time to Cooma of approximately 3 hours. Rideau would take a full day by road, so the only practical way to get there is by Puma helicopter. Each of the outstations is usually visited once a month, as the transmitters are all solid state and therefore more reliable than larger valve types. The transmission system's stereo, with the exception of Rideau, where due to insufficient signal strength the service is rebroadcast in mono. The majority of the engineering workload therefore centres on Airport Camp, maintaining the 2 studios, automation system and the transmitter. The studio's generator and aircon system are located in a custom-built container which was shipped out from the UK as a complete unit. The desks were installed prior to the development of the standard presentation system, so at the current time they're not identical to those in use elsewhere, although they're pretty close. A particular problem to Belize is the erratic local power supply, which frequently dips or surges in voltage and frequency. The majority of the faults at Airport Camp are therefore related to power supplies. An uninterruptible unit is currently under installation at Airport Camp, which should resolve that problem and also cover the short gaps we experience between the local supply failing and our generator running up, which can be up to 8 times a day. The social life on camp is very much what you make of it. There's usually some sort of trip away organised each weekend by the other mess livers in, so there's plenty of opportunity to get out and see Belize and the neighbouring countries. Most people are similarly unaccompanied for a 4 or 6 month tour, so there's very much an all-in-it-together atmosphere in the mess.
Martin, the other UK-based, who by the time I return to Belize, he will have left. We also have 3 local employees, Yvette, our cleaner, and the librarian, and Pam, the secretary.
I'm Pam Parker. I'm the secretary at BFBS and I've been here for 2 months now. I'm with my husband in Belize on a 2-year accompanied posting. We've been here for 7 months. My job is mainly doing the incoming and outgoing mail, any typing that needs doing the daily roundup on the computer, and any spare time I get, I help Anne out with the card indexing.
Hello, my name's Anne Wills and I'm the librarian here. I've been here for 13 months now, and my job here is to look after all the records and CDs in the library and all the bricks and tapes that come in on a daily basis from London. My husband is the 4th RQ.
Thank you, Anne. The BFBS Belize couldn't operate without volunteers. We have 10 of them.
Hi, my name's Chappie, real name Graham Chapman, but on my show that's my nickname. I'm on the 1 o'clock till 3 show, normally. I'm with the 1st Battalion of the King's Own Royal Boy Regiment. Normally, I do explosives with the Assault Pioneers, but however, since this 6 months, looks like I'm DJing with BFBS. I've been doing it for 2 weeks now, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
Hello, I'm Lynn Ashton. I'm one half of the Good Morning Belize team here in BFBS Belize. I present 3 3-hour programmes of music each morning, which follow the Simon Gettier show, which we get here between 6 and 8 live at BFBS. I've been here for approximately 2 years. I'm with my husband, who's attached to the army with NAFI, having a wonderful time, and I shall be very sorry to leave.
Hi, my name's Rosie Mack. I present the Good Morning Belize show every Tuesday and Thursday mornings. My husband is in the army on a 2-year tour and I've worked for BFBS for the last 6 months. This is the very first time I've ever worked on radio and I really enjoy it.
Hello, I'm Derek Palmer. I present the Monday evening night spot. I used to do just 2 minutes a week on BFBS as the Force Chaplain on Just a Moment. I thought I needed a bit longer than that, so I joined BFBS as a presenter in September 1990.
Hi there, I'm Willie Kay and I present the Night Spot show. I'm with the PSA International. I've been in Belize 3 years and it's my first time in BFBS and I've been on the radio now for some 19 months.
Hi, I'm Al Evans, better known as the Real Gone Kid or Top Cap. I've been here in Belize for the last 8 months, working in the Tactical Air Operations Centre for the RAF. And in my spare time, I present the BFBS Night Spot on a Wednesday and Sunday evening, which is...
Hello, my name's Gail Short. I've been working with BFBS Belize for about 10 months now and have another 3 months to do before leaving. I have 2 regular shows on a Saturday tea time and a Thursday night spot. Having never worked on radio before, I didn't know quite what to expect. All I can say now is that during the day I work as the garrison librarian, but if you'd like to offer me a contract, I may consider it. Thank you.
Right, my name's Kevin Brown, better known as Billy Brown on the BFBS night spots on Friday and Sunday. Been in Belize now for 3 months, I'm doing BFBS for a couple. I work for the RAF in the communications section. I'm quite like out here.
Hello, my name's Phil Strongman, affectionately known as Big Phil. I'm a chef in the Royal Air Force. This is my second tour in Belize. I was here in 1986 and I've also been lucky enough to be a BFBS presenter on both occasions that I've been here.
The volunteer presenters bring varying amounts of talent, loads of keenness, but by the time they make their way to BFBS and then about a month in training, they are only with us for about 4 months before going back to the UK. In fact, we have a leaving party about every 3 weeks, causing the only programme expense, which is the food and drink, a framed certificate and a T-shirt. The non-standard overnight package is a godsend together with the automation system. At present we have an excellent mix of live, local and London programmes. Perhaps more than on the larger stations, we are much more dependent on London and Chalfont, both programme and engineering, to keep us well served. Thanks to all concerned for an excellent service. The computer programmes I've developed over the years come to the fore on a station of this size. RTOs, which must be 100% accurate when they're being used by volunteer presenters, only take about 5 minutes a week to prepare, and the accounts for the station about 1 hour each month. As I hope London and Gibraltar will verify, they save large amounts of time and are very easy to use. So, gentlemen, a taster of the country that is Belize, a station that is as close to the audience as you can get. Unless you've worked in the Falklands, the Gulf or Belize, you can't comprehend the feeling of being on a true instant community radio station. It's hard work, it's fun, life is good on and off the station. I commend it to you.